Chapter 2932. Bro, say something. Seeing Qin Chu's silence, Su Yu felt bad. He suddenly realized how important Huamin was to Qin Chu. Damn it. Hua Xiqian is a bastard. If I catch him this time, I'll kill him for sure. Even if I have to go to jail for 20 years, it'll be worth it. He's such a scourge. Su Yu cursed. He wanted to strangle Hua Xiqian. But Qin Chu still didn't say a word. Qin Chu. Su Yu was about to say something. Qin Chu looked up at him and said slowly, Su Yu, take care of my daughter. What are you doing? Are you trying to kill him? Do you know where he is? I said I'd go to the Hua mansion with you. Why didn't you go? Su Yu started nagging. Qin Chu, on the other hand, was even more taciturn than usual in the face of such an important event. Hey Qin Chu, where are you going? Seeing Qin Chu leave, Su Yu was even more anxious. I'll find Mian. With that, Qin Chu turned around and left South Hill Manor. Tang Chuan had also rushed over after receiving the news. He drove a flashy new car, an orange Lamborghini. Ning, what's going on? Tang Chuan was confused. My sister-in-law is missing. My brother is worried sick. Qin Ning answered with tears in her eyes. Huh? Sister-in-law is missing? How is that possible? She's still alive. How can she disappear at home? Tang Chuan knew that the Qin family had been on high alert recently. How could Huamin disappear in broad daylight? I don't know what Hua Xiqian did. When I went upstairs, I saw that she wasn't in the room. Only Zhang Manlin was there. Zhang Manlin? What the hell is going on? Tang Chuan was even more confused. Qin Ning cried like a pear blossom in the rain. After returning to China, so many things had happened. Sometimes Qin Ning felt helpless. She wanted to share her brother's burden, but she couldn't help at all. Ning, be a good girl. Don't cry. We can talk about it slowly, okay? Tang Chuan saw that Qin Ning's eyes were red from crying. He comforted her and put his arm around her shoulders. Qin Ning, on the other hand, sobbed intermittently as she recounted what had happened. Motherfucker, Hua Xiqian is so fucking awesome. It's broad daylight and he's trying to switch us out. Tang Chuan was furious when he heard what Hua Xiqian said. What I'm worried about is where my sister-in-law went. Qin Ning sobbed. Where are the twins? Tang Chuan asked. They were taken away by Su Yu. My brother told me that he might fight Hua Xiqian to the death. Come to my house first, it's probably not safe here. I'll get someone to start looking for my sister-in-law. We'll definitely find her. She won't go far. Even if she leaves by plane, it's not easy to get through the airport security. My dad and the person in charge of the airport are good friends, so don't worry about it. Tang Chuan rarely bragged to Qin Ning about his abilities. This was the first time he did it, so he didn't want Qin Ning to worry. But it was true that the Tang family was very powerful in this city. Qin Ning's mood improved a lot after hearing this. She nodded and got into Tang Chuan's car, leaving with him. Qin Chu also arranged for the two elders of the Qin family and Huamin's mother to live in another place with special protection. In Su Yu's car, the twins didn't say a word. It was like heaven compared to their usual lively selves. Hey, you two, say something. I'm really worried. Su Yu felt bad for the twins. Seeing them in low spirits made him feel bad too. Chapter 2933. Handsome Su, do you think my mommy will die? Little Bean looked up at Su Yu with tears on her face. No, don't worry. Your mommy will be fine. Mommy won't die because Hua Xiqian likes my mommy and won't hurt her, Pudding analyzed calmly. Yes, Pudding is right. You two don't have to worry. Su Yu comforted the twins. Then Pudding said, but the big bad guy will take my mommy away and we won't be able to find her for the rest of our lives. Then Pudding lowered her head and began to cry. Hearing this, Little Bean also burst into tears. She cried and said, my sister is right. The big bad guy has been thinking about my mommy for a long time. This time he will take my mommy to a place very, very far away where we won't be able to find her. Last time when we were kidnapped, the big bad guy told my mommy that he would take her to some island and be with her forever. Daddy is so pitiful to lose my mommy. What if we can't see her again? We don't even know if she's pregnant with a little brother or sister. After Little Bean's emotional speech, Su Yu almost burst into tears. And also had tears in his eyes as he drove. President Su, will President Hua really not come back this time? And asked. Oh, shut your mouth. No, our Dr. Hua is so smart. He's more than capable of dealing with Hua Xiqian. You have to believe in her. Su Yu comforted the twins. Then he took out the snacks and candies he bought for the kids from the bag beside him. Little Bean, come and have an egg tart. I can't eat, Little Bean said pitifully. Don't eat so much. We have to maintain our strength to find a way to save your mommy. I still can't eat. I'm not in the mood. It was rare for Little Bean to not be tempted by food. For the first time, the two kids were not interested in anything. No matter how Suyu comforted them, they refused to speak. At the Su mansion, when Lady Su saw the two children, she enthusiastically took them upstairs to change their clothes and prepare for dinner. Don't tell Lord Su and Grandma Su about this in case they worry, okay? Suyu whispered to the twins. The two kids nodded. Mom, you guys go ahead and eat first. The child might stay at our house for the next few days. Where's Mion and her husband? Lady Su was curious. They went on a business trip to America. There's no one to take care of the child. Oh, good. It just so happens that I miss these two girls. I'll stay for a while longer. Lady Su liked Little Bean and Pudding very much. When she heard that she was going to stay here for a few days, she couldn't suppress the excitement on her face. Little Bean, Pudding, what do you want to eat? Tell Grandma. We have everything at home. If we don't have it, we'll find a way to get it for you. It's okay, Grandma Su. I'll just eat something, Pudding answered reluctantly. I'm going out to do something. You guys go ahead and eat. Don't wait for me. After sending the children off, Suyu couldn't sit still anymore. He turned around and went to find Qin Chu within. He wanted to join the rescue operation for Huamin. Tang Chuan, Wei Liao and Gao Ren also came to meet them. In GK's president's office, the 5 men sat together. What should we do now? I installed a tracker on Mion. I should know where she is, Qin Chu said slowly. Holy shit, then hurry up and find her location so that we can save her. Suyu stood up anxiously. However, the expression on Qin Chu's face gradually became complicated. Chu, is there something you can't say? Gao Ran saw that something was wrong with Qin Chu and asked. Chapter 29:34. After a moment of silence, Qin Chu said slowly, I'm afraid. I'm afraid. Afraid of what? Gao Ran frowned slightly. He didn't know what could make Qin Chu so afraid. I'm afraid. Hua Xiqian is so smart. He'll find the tracker on Mion's body and throw it away. I won't be able to find Mion anymore. Qin Chu's eyes dimmed as soon as he finished speaking. He was afraid. He was afraid that the last clue would be lost. After Qin Chu said this, the men fell silent again. Does Huamin know where the tracker is? Wei Liao asked. Before Qin Chu could speak, Tang Chuan said, if it's in her phone, she's dead meat. Hua Xiqian would never give her a phone. Don't think that everyone is as smart as you, okay? Suyu looked at Tang Chuan speechlessly. Obviously he didn't agree with him. With Qin Chu's intelligence, there was no way he would put the tracker on her phone. If her phone was gone, then everything would be gone. It's in Mion's necklace, Qin Chu said. Huamin has so many necklaces. Which one are you talking about? Gao Ran was confused. The one she bought a while ago. It's a Bulgari diamond necklace, Qin Chu said. Then it's easy. Hua Xiqian wouldn't notice something that's always on her, right? Let's not waste time. Let's check it out, Gao Ran suggested. Suyu nodded. Yeah, let's check it out. We can't be afraid of losing the clue. With a heavy heart, Qin Chu turned on his phone and connected to the tracker's app. The men held their breaths, waiting for this moment. They were all worried for Huamin. South of Sea City on the rugged and steep mountain road, a black Mercedes-Benz commercial vehicle sped past. Huamian was sleeping in the back seat. Her eyelashes were slightly curled, and her lips were a natural cherry blossom pink, making anyone who saw her want to kiss her. Boss, the things you asked for are here. The driver turned around and said. Stop ahead, Hua Xiqian instructed. Then the car slowly stopped at the edge of the steep cliff. A young man got out of a black Toyota Camry that came from the opposite direction. Boss. Where is it? Hua Xiqian stretched out his hand. Here. The man handed over a small box. Boss, what about Oching? The man asked. Where's he now? Hua Xiqian asked. He's on his way back. Get rid of him, Hua Xiqian ordered without hesitation. All right. Then Hua Xiqian took the box and got into the car. Hua Xiqian took the box and sat down beside Huamin. Then he took out a small detector and scanned Huamin's entire body. When it passed by Huamin's neck, the detector beeped loudly. Hua Xiqian narrowed his eyes and carefully examined Huamin's neck. There was a beautiful diamond necklace there. A custom-made Bulgari necklace. Ah, Qingqiu sure knows how to come up with ideas. I bet you didn't even know about it, right? Then Hua Xiqian slowly reached out his hand and broke the necklace. Then he opened the car window and threw the necklace into the mountain stream beside the mountain road. At this moment Huamin didn't know. She was still asleep. Call them and ask when my little sister will wake up, Hua Xiqian said in a low voice. Chapter 29:35. 5 minutes later Hua Xiqian's subordinate hung up and replied carefully. Boss, they said, the slowest is 3 hours and the fastest is 1 hour. There won't be any side effects, right? Hua Xiqian asked worriedly. No, they said. Miss Hua is just sleeping like usual. Okay. Hua Xiqian's lips curled into an imperceptible smile. Boss, speak. Zhang Manlin is dead. Hua Xiqian didn't care about that pawn's life at all. Even if she suddenly decided to do one last thing for Hua Xiqian didn't sympathize with her at all. Even if Qingqiu didn't kill her, he wouldn't let her live. Hua Xiqian wouldn't let go of anyone who tried to harm Huamin. Zhang Manlin was shot to death by Qingqiu. Qingqiu is merciful. If someone like her was in my hands, I'd probably cut off her flesh piece by piece and let her experience the most painful pain in the world before she dies. Hua Xiqian chuckled. Boss, are we still going with the original plan? Yes. Hu Yanyan. Hua Xiqian's subordinate hesitated. Let's do it in half an hour. I like to clean up the mess before I leave. Then Hua Xiqian leaned over and looked at Huamin gently. In a few more hours, we'll be together forever. Mian, are you happy? Hua Xiqian whispered to Huamin. The city bureau's sanatorium, due to Hu Yanyan's special identity and case, as well as Hua Xiqian's previous attempts to frame her. The leaders of the city and even the provincial government were all paying attention to this matter. Therefore she was not sent directly to a mental hospital like the others. Instead she was locked up in a sanatorium directly under the city bureau. Shen Mingxi walked in with Tian. He had been taking care of the child. After all, the child was still young. No matter how close he was to him, it was inevitable that he would look for his mother. Therefore Shen Mingxi called Gao Ran and brought the child to visit Hu Yanyan. President Shen, she's inside. You can go in, but... The nurse said hesitantly. But what? Her emotions aren't very stable. You'd better stay away from her. You're also not allowed to remove the bandages on her hands and feet. This is what the doctor said because she has already bitten 3 people before. All right, I got it. Shen Mingxi walked in gloomily. Just as he reached the door he seemed to hear some noise coming from inside. Listening carefully, Zhang Xian felt that something was amiss. Yin. Shen Mingxi called her name. Since there was no response he ignored the nurse's warning and kicked the door open. Then he saw an extremely thrilling scene. It was a man wearing a black baseball cap and a black mask. He was holding a hemp rope tightly around Hu Yanyan's neck. Hu Yanyan was strangled so tightly that her eyes rolled back into her head. Her mouth was wide open but no sound came out. She could only make strange gasping sounds. Mommy. Tian was scared out of her wits and began to cry. Stop it. Shen Mingxi rushed over and the man immediately jumped out of the window to escape. Judging from his figure and technique he must be a professional. After the man let go of Hu Yanyan fell to the ground. Yang. Shen Mingxi picked up Hu Yanyan. His face was pale with fright. Mommy, don't die. Tian ran over and knelt on Hu Yanyan crying miserably. Chapter 29:36. Hu Yanyan was resuscitated for an hour before she gradually regained her breath. However, she was still delirious. Until now, no one knew what medicine Hua Xiqian had given Hu Yanyan. Many military doctors from the public security department came, but none of them could cure her. Huamin was the only one who could cure her, but he was nowhere to be found. Shen Mingxi had mixed feelings as he looked at Hu Yanyan lying on the hospital bed. At this point he no longer had feelings for Hu Yanyan like he did in the past. It was ridiculous to say that he loved her. No matter how great and deep their love was, after experiencing betrayal and lies again and again, it was only fragmented in the end. Now he only saw Hu Yanyan as a former friend and Tian's mother. That was why he felt a little pity for her. Did anything strange happen recently? Shen Mingxi asked. Nothing strange. Things just happened. The young nurse recalled carefully. Then, did she see anyone recently? Or did anyone come to see her? Shin Mingxi asked. Nothing. Okay, I got it. Shin Mingxi stayed with Hui Yanyan in the ward with Tian Tian for a while. He only left when he saw that she was sleeping soundly. Uncle Shin, is my mommy okay? Tian Tian asked in the car on the way back. She's fine. Then, Uncle Shin, can we come to see her often? Yes. Uncle Shin, then, what should I do in the future? Tian Tian's eyes dimmed as she said this. She didn't understand the grudges between adults, but her mommy couldn't even protect herself in this state. What would happen to her in the future? Who would take care of her? Her biological father was missing. She didn't even have a guardian. The child's words deeply touched Shin Mingxi's heart. He raised his hand and gently stroked Tian Tian's head. From now on, you can stay with Uncle Shin, okay? Can I? The little girl bit her lip as if she didn't quite believe him. Of course, as long as you're willing, Shin Mingxi added. I'm willing. Tian Tian had always had deep feelings for Shin Mingxi. He wasn't her biological father, but she was closer to him than her biological father. Therefore, after hearing that Uncle Shin was taking care of her, the child was very happy. CO office of Shin Group. Shin Mingxi took Tian Tian to the company for a meeting. Take care of her and order some food for her. I'll take her home after the meeting, Shin Mingxi said to his secretary. Shin Mingxi was about to head to the conference room when he bumped into his mother. Son, wait. Mom, why are you here? Son, this child can't be kept. Mother Shin's attitude was firm. Mom, what time is it now? Do you still have feelings for Hui Yanyan? Mrs. Shin looked at her son angrily. Mom, I really didn't. Hui Yanyan and I broke off all ties a long time ago. Now that she's mentally unstable, she can't take care of the child. I can't watch the child wander the streets, Shin Mingxi explained. If that's the case, then it's easy. If you can't bear to see her like this, you can send her to the orphanage. Or, we can find a good family for her to be adopted. No. Shin Mingxi rejected immediately. Sending her to the orphanage was impossible. He couldn't bear to do that. After all, he couldn't bear to let her be adopted. Son, don't be foolish. You're still single. You can remarry and have another child. This isn't your child anyway. Why do you have to keep raising her? You're making trouble for yourself. Don't you want to reconcile with Ying? Do you think she'll accept Hui Yanyan's daughter? Mother Shin questioned sternly. Chapter 29:37. Mom, don't talk about it. I haven't thought about the future yet, but in this situation, I can't leave the child alone. Shin Mingxi and his mother confronted each other. Tian Tian seemed to know it was because of her, so she hid behind Shin Mingxi and tightly tugged at the corner of his shirt. Uncle Shin, don't leave me. Her voice was very small and filled with fear. Yes, she was afraid of being abandoned. She was a child who had been deprived of love since she was young. Perhaps she was a child who shouldn't have been born in this world. She didn't understand. Little Bean and Pudding were little girls like her. Why did the twins have everything? They had parents who loved them, grandparents, uncles, aunts and aunts. But she, even her own mother, would yell at her when she was crazy. The only person who had ever given her warmth was Uncle Shin. But people kept telling her that Uncle Shin wasn't her father and that they weren't related by blood. No, I won't leave you. With that, Shin Mingxi got up with the child in his arms and walked into the meeting room. He was afraid that his mother would send the child away if he wasn't there. Mrs. Shin was exasperated. Madam, don't be angry. Young master is soft-hearted now. Maybe he can't bear to leave the child. After things settle down, the child will find a good place to go. The person beside her comforted Mrs. Shen. On the other side, on the way back to the city, Ching and a few men escorted Hu Xiqian's so-called guide carefully. Because there were too many people, it wasn't convenient for him to call Qin Chu and inform him. Therefore, Ching didn't know everything that happened in Sea City. Until, in the suburbs 50 miles away from the city, 3 jeeps came from the opposite side and more than 20 big men got out of the cars. Big brother Qing. The man got out of the car and greeted him. Weizi, why are you here? Ching was slightly surprised. Weizi was one of Hu Xiqian's men, but he rarely showed up. Because Weizi usually carried out some extremely secretive missions, he was rarely in the city. Therefore, when he saw Weizi, Ching had a bad feeling. Oh, boss asked me to pick you up. It's okay. We'll be there in about an hour. Ching smiled. Brother Qing. boss said. Weizi paused. What did boss say? Aching looked at Weizi in confusion. Boss told me to send you on your way. After saying that, Weizi and the others all took out their guns. What are you guys doing? Aching was dumbfounded. Big brother Ching, you shouldn't have betrayed boss. You know how he is. Weizi looked at Aching with pity. Aching immediately understood that Huasiqian had found out about his betrayal. Brothers, don't be afraid. I only want Aching's life today. It has nothing to do with you. Weizi said to the subordinates behind Aching. Brother Ching, what's going on? The other brothers were also confused. I'm sorry, brothers. Don't worry about me. I asked for it. Aching gritted his teeth. Then in a flash he opened the escort box. Originally he wanted to take out the weapon and fight it out with it. However, when he opened it he was dumbfounded. Inside were all stones. Do you think boss will still let you escort those things when he knows you're a traitor? Weizi laughed mockingly. Aching's heart turned cold. Chapter 2938. Unarmed and with Weizi's men, Aching thought he was dead meat. Boss said to clean up the mess. So, I'm sorry. Weizi pointed the gun at Aching's heart. Just as he was about to shoot, he heard a gunshot. His men fell to the ground behind him. When Weizi turned around, Aching pounced on one of Weizi's men. Then he snatched the gun. In the chaos, there was a gunfight. Seeing that Aching had reinforcements, Weizi didn't want to fight anymore. He hurriedly fired a few shots and fled. Aching's arm was scratched by a bullet in the gunfight, and it kept bleeding. You're Mr. Qin's men, right? Aching looked at the reinforcements. Yeah, President Qin asked us to bring you back safely. Where's my goddaughter? Aching asked anxiously. Big brother Aching, don't worry. President Qin has taken your daughter to a safe place. Okay. Aching gritted his teeth and endured the pain. Then he nodded and followed those people. GK headquarters, Qin Chu used the tracker from before and turned on the location. He saw that Huamin was in the mountains south of the city. It's this location. Gao Ran, get someone to go check it out immediately. Okay. After Gao Ran got the location, he immediately contacted his subordinates. In order to save time, he sent out a helicopter to track him. The men were still waiting anxiously in the office. Brother-in-law, don't worry. I think sister-in-law will be fine. She's so smart she won't be taken advantage of anywhere, Tang Chuan comforted him. Qin Chu lowered his head and didn't say anything. He held a teacup in his hand and seemed to be thinking about something. I also think Mian will be fine. This time we caught Huasiqian. In my opinion, we don't need to go through any legal procedures. That kind of psychopath only knows how to take advantage of the loopholes in the law. Does he think he can do whatever he wants just because he's mentally ill and schizophrenic? Suyu hated Huasiqian so much that his teeth itched. Yeah, I think we can bury that psychopath alive this time, Wei Liao said. Time ticked by. 15 minutes later, Gao Ran's phone rang. Everyone looked at him expectantly. They wanted to hear that Huamin had been found. Unexpectedly, after Gao Ran finished the call, his expression became more complicated. How is it? Have you found him? Su Yu's face was filled with anticipation. Gao Ran shook his head. Then he looked at Qin Chu guiltily and said, Huasiqian, the tracker, is there, but the person is not there. I think Huasiqian found something on Huamin's body and threw it away. When our people went there, they found a steep mountain stream. The forest was so dense that no one could step on it. After scanning it with a scanner, we found no signs of human activity. Basically, we can conclude that the tracker was thrown down by someone. Fuck. Tang Chuan cursed unhappily. Qin Chu seemed to have expected this result, so when he heard this he was exceptionally quiet and didn't say anything. Suyu was clearly agitated. He kicked over the table in front of him. The teacup shattered all over the floor. Fuck, we must cut that psychopath into pieces this time, Suyu cursed angrily. Now's not the time to be angry. We need to think about what to do next. Wei Liao calmly analyzed. Gao Ran walked over and said to Qin Chu. Chu, although we didn't find him, it's not all bad news. We found something there that proves that they passed by there. There are very few roads in the southern mountain range. As long as we follow the path, we will find something, Gao Ran comforted Qin Chu. Just then Qin Chu's phone rang. He looked at it and slowly picked it up. Chapter 2939. Hey, I got it. Bring him in. After hanging up, Suyu immediately asked, "Do you have any leads?" "Hua Xiqian's man and Aching is my spy. Let's see if we can get any valuable information." Qin Chu didn't seem to have much confidence. This time Hua Xiqian took someone from his house in broad daylight right under his nose. And Zhang Manlin was replaced. This was a huge blow to Qin Chu. So, compared to others, no one could understand Qin Chu's feelings at this moment. Aching's arm was wrapped in white gauze as he was brought in. "President Qin." He seemed very apologetic. "Are you okay?" Qin Chu glanced at Aching's arm. "I'm fine. It's just a minor injury. The child has been transferred to a safe place. Someone is watching over her. Don't worry." "I know. Thank you, President Qin. I really didn't know Hua Xiqian already knew my identity. That's why I didn't inform you in time. I heard." "Miss Hua." Aching was truly apologetic. "It's okay. It's not your fault. He arranged for me to pick up the goods at the last minute. I thought he was going to do it after he got the goods. I didn't expect it to be a trap. A trap to distract me and distract you. This is very much like Hua Xiqian's style." "I was careless," Qin Chu said faintly. "Weizi sent people to stop me. It was Hua Xiqian's idea. Seems he wanted to kill me. Fortunately your people arrived in time." Aching looked at Qin Chu gratefully. "Aching, think about it. My wife is in Hua Xiqian's hands. Where would he take her?" Qin Chu placed his last hope on Hua Xiqian's former confidant, Aching. Could it be Glendale Island? "What island?" Gao Ran didn't hear clearly, so he asked again. "Actually, I don't know where the island is either. I only know that Boss No Hua Xiqian bought a small island many years ago. He said that one day he would move there and live in seclusion. All these years he has hired people to take care of the island. He even goes there once every 2 years. I'm guessing that's where he plans to take Miss Hua to," Aching said. "You don't even know where the island is and you're telling us a name that we've never even heard of. How are we supposed to find it?" Tang Chuan complained. Suyu took out his electronic device and opened the HD satellite map. He keyed in the island that Aching had just mentioned, but he found nothing in either Chinese or English. "Are you sure that's the name?" "Oh," Suyu said. "I don't know if this is the name of the island or if Hua Xiqian came up with it himself, so I don't dare to jump to conclusions," Aching said. "Fuck, isn't that a waste of time?" Tang Chuan slammed his phone on the coffee table, his face full of anger. You can't blame him. There are a lot of places and islands in the world that don't have names. They aren't even marked on the map. It's not surprising that Hua Xiqian would do something weird. I'm just curious. No matter which island it is, he has to leave first. The entire city is sealed off. Planes, ships, trains and cars can't leave. How is Hua Xiqian going to leave with Hua Min? Wei Liao asked cleverly. "Oh right, I know a place that they might go to." Aching suddenly thought of something and said excitedly. Chapter 2940. Where? Ziyu was extremely anxious. He wanted nothing more than to dig out all the information he needed from Aching's mouth. "It's a cliff near Yuewang Mountain." "A cliff?" Gao Ran frowned slightly. "That doesn't make sense. Shouldn't Hua Xiqian be taking sister-in-law out of the country at this time? Why would he go to a cliff?" Tang Chuan also felt that something was wrong. However, Qin Chu was very concerned about this piece of information. "Gao Ran, go check right now. If we go to Yuewang Mountain, will we pass by the mountain stream where the tracker fell?" Qin Chu asked. Gao Ran nodded. He picked up the GPS map and searched. He immediately nodded excitedly at Qin Chu. "True. This road goes all the way south and passes through 15 or 16 tunnels. Then we'll arrive at Yuewang Mountain after more than 30 miles of winding mountain roads. However, because of the steep terrain, no one has developed the mountain in recent years. It's dangerous everywhere. Normal people rarely go there. Even the mountain people don't go there easily. There are many wild animals there. Why would Hua Xiqian, that pervert, go there?" Gao Ran asked a series of questions. Then everyone looked at Aching. Aching looked at Qin Chu innocently. "President Qin, I'm telling the truth." "I know," Qin Chu replied calmly. "Then why would Hua Xiqian go to Yuewang Mountain? Picking mushrooms? Digging for wild vegetables?" Tang Chuan obviously didn't believe him. His tone was full of sarcasm. "I don't know, but he does go there. He doesn't bring anyone with him every time. He drives a jeep by himself. He goes there in the morning and comes back at night. Someone asked him before and he only said that he would be bored if he stayed in the city for too long. He went out to get some fresh air, see the scenery and relieve stress. But I feel that with my understanding of boss, it's not as simple as just seeing the scenery. Oching explained seriously to everyone. That's possible. Huasiqian likes to do things unexpectedly. So Oching is probably right, Wei Liao analyzed rationally. Gao Ran set the coordinates of Yuewang Mountain. We're leaving now. We're really going? Won't we miss nothing? Tang Chuan felt that it was impossible for them to go there. We'll go even if we don't get anything. This time, Su Yu miraculously took Qin Chu's side. Okay, let's go. Then Qin Chu immediately asked the company to prepare 5 jeeps. The 5 men each took one and headed towards Yuewang Mountain. In order to save time, they used a helicopter to send the 5 of them there. The jeeps were also transported by air. It was very impressive. Gao Ran contacted the Public Security Bureau near Yuewang Mountain. They also sent a lot of police cars and people to follow behind Qin Chu and the others. The road up the mountain was very difficult. Even the best car couldn't go fast. Qin Chu and the others went up the mountain. Gao Ran used the map to locate Huasiqian's location. At this moment, Huamin slowly woke up in Huasiqian's car. Little sister Mian, you're finally awake. Huasiqian looked at Huamin gently. The moment she saw Huasiqian, Huamin's eyes became sharp. Why are you here? Wrong. You should be asking why are you in my car? Huasiqian chuckled. Huamin finally realized that she was in a black Mercedes-Benz in the middle of nowhere. Huamin remembered that she was very sleepy and was sleeping at home. She didn't remember anything else. She tried to remember, but she couldn't remember how Huasiqian kidnapped her. Chapter 2941. Do you have any recollection of it? Huasiqian asked. I remember. I was sleeping at home and you came to my house to kidnap me. Where's my daughter? Where's my husband? What did you do to them? Huamin's eyes widened as he glared at Huasiqian. Don't worry, I'm not interested in your children or your husband. They're fine, I only took you away. What do you want? Huamin frowned as he slowly got up, feeling weak all over. Don't move, my little sister. You haven't fully recovered yet. What did you do to me? Huamin was shocked. He wondered if Huasiqian had drugged him. He was pregnant with his second child and any drug would affect the baby. Therefore Huamin subconsciously rubbed his belly. Don't be afraid, I wouldn't do anything to you. I just found a wizard in Thailand and put a sleeping spell on you. You only slept for 3 to 5 hours. How was it? Did you sleep well? Did you have any dreams? You're a pervert. Huamin stared at Huasiqian with mixed feelings. Huasiqian's thoughts weren't something that ordinary people could understand if he was willing to do something like finding a wizard. Okay, don't be in such a hurry to scold me. Come, let me show you something. After speaking, Huasiqian reached out his hand and helped Huamin up. Huamin wanted to push him away, but he didn't have the strength to do so. After Huamin got out of the car, he looked around and his eyes darkened. It's beautiful here, isn't it? Huasiqian asked softly. Huamin shook off Huasiqian's hand with all his might. He hated having skin contact with him. Huamin looked at where he was. He was at the top of a very high mountain. It felt like this place was a cliff and below it was the sea because the sound of the sea could be heard clearly. It was nighttime. Logically speaking, it should be very dark. However, Huasiqian had ordered people to make many colored lights and hang them on the Christmas tree. Then at the edge of the cliff, there was an arch made of white gauze, covered with green grass and white flowers. How did it look like a dark mountaintop? It was more like a lawn wedding. Nobody knew how long such a huge project would take or how many people would be needed to complete it. Huasiqian didn't answer Huamin's question. She had to admit that this place was very, very beautiful, but so what? In the face of someone she hated, no matter how beautiful the scenery was, she was not in the mood to appreciate it. Under the arched door, there was a rectangular dining table with a white tablecloth on it. There were chairs at both ends, and in the middle were 2 goblets and a bottle of red wine. Are you hungry after sleeping for so long? Let's have something to eat. Huasiqian pointed at the dining table and invited Huamin with a smile. I'm not eating. I didn't poison it, Huasiqian said half-jokingly. I'm not in the mood to eat with someone I hate. Huamin gritted her teeth. She didn't give Huasiqian any face. But if you don't eat, you can't run away just standing here. Why don't you sit down and enjoy the scenery at the top of the mountain? Hua Xiqian finished speaking and looked into the distance. What do you want in order to let me go? Tell me what you want. Hua Min thought that Hua Xiqian was holding her hostage because he wanted something to threaten Qin Chu. But this time it seemed that she was wrong. Hua Xiqian stood in front of the dining table and slowly picked up the goblet. Looking at the sparkling red wine inside, he said, "You asked me what I want. Fine, I'll tell you now, I only want Hua Min." Chapter 2942. Upon hearing this, Hua Min immediately understood what Hua Xiqian meant. It seemed like he was serious this time. "If you drag me up here, my husband won't let you off the hook." Qin Chu? I've never been afraid of him. Hua Xiqian smiled playfully. Hua Xiqian, do you think it's fun to force people like this? Haven't you heard that a forced melon won't be sweet? I don't care if it's sweet or not, as long as it's sweet I'll be happy, Hua Xiqian replied proudly. Hua Min. Upon hearing this answer, Hua Mion's heart raced with 10,000 alpacas. "Ah, I'm just kidding, you actually believed me. But you're so cute when you're angry." Hua Xiqian didn't like to see Hua Min's usually calm face. He liked to see Hua Min's expression even if it was anger or anger. This way he could make his presence known, and not be easily ignored by Hua Min. "Come on, Mion, let's change into a set of clothes first." After speaking, Hua Xiqian turned around and walked into the trunk of the car. He took out a white wedding dress and placed it on the back seat. "Go change into it." "No way." Hua Min was stubborn. "Then I'll have to change for you myself, don't say I took advantage of you." Hua Xiqian smiled as he walked closer to her. "Don't come over." Hua Min was so scared that she retreated. She was in an awkward situation right now. When Hua Xiqian brought her out, she was wearing a nightgown. Although it wasn't very revealing, it was still very cold in a nightgown in the middle of the night. "So, do you want to change yourself or do you want me to help you?" Hua Xiqian pressed on. "Hua Xiqian, don't touch me. If you come any closer I'll jump down." Hua Min pointed at the cliff behind him. He couldn't see how high it was, but if he jumped down it would be impossible for him to survive. After all, it was the sea below and a wave would roll dozens of meters away. "You won't." Hua Xiqian smiled. "I will. Don't provoke me. I'm not afraid of death." Hua Min was furious. "I know you're not afraid of death, but you're afraid that you won't be able to see your husband and daughter. Think about your cute twins, they call you mommy again and again. How could you let them lose their mother?" Hua Xiqian was indeed an expert in psychological warfare. Hua Min's weakness was her husband and children. Hua Min's heart softened at the thought of the twins calling her mommy so sweetly. "So Mion, don't fight with me. I promise I won't hurt you." "You've already hurt me, asshole." Hua Min cursed at Hua Xiqian with tears in his eyes. "No, trust me. I'm the one who can't bear to hurt you the most in the world. Plus, if anyone hurts you they'll all die." Song Yisher, Mo Shui, Zhang Manlin and Hui Yanyan. Hua Xiqian said with utmost seriousness. "You're wrong. The pain they've caused me is far less than 1/10 of the pain you've caused me. Hua Xiqian, don't you understand? You're the one who hurt me the most. All this time, you've done everything you can to ruin my relationship with Qin Chu. You broke up our family and caused me to be separated from him for 4 years when I was pregnant. It's all because of you. So, as the one who hurt me the most, shouldn't you explode on the spot?" Hua Mion asked viciously. Upon hearing this, Hua Xiqian was slightly stunned. He didn't expect Hua Min to have such thoughts. Chapter 2943. Mion, so that's how you think of me? Hua Xiqian's eyes were a little dazed and even a little helpless. "What else did you think?" Hua Min stared at him viciously. "I thought that even if you don't like me, you'd at least think that we're connected. After all, we've known each other for so many years." "Are you proud that we've known each other for so many years? I've known my high school classmates for so many years, including Wei Dong and the others." Hua Min looked nonchalant. "I thought that you'd see my true feelings after all these years." Hua Xiqian looked like a wrong child. "Don't talk to me about your true feelings. True feelings are only valuable when they're cherished by others. If you force yourself on others, that's not true feelings. That's just selfishness." "I see." Hua Xiqian looked slightly disappointed. "So, Hua Xiqian, let me go and let yourself go. We're both tired after all these years. You've been pestering me for so long. You must be tired too. I've been under a lot of pressure because of you. Let's not interfere with each other anymore, okay? Mian, I'll take you away. No. If you take me away, it'll only be the beginning of the tragedy. Huamin shook her head. She would never go with Hua Xiqian. Mian, you don't understand. If I don't take you away, you're dead. I know. You want to say that Ian is looking for me, right? Huamin knew that Ian was looking for her ever since he found out about her true identity. You don't understand Ian's methods. Do you think I'm cruel enough? He's 10,000 times crueler than me. Lu Yen is so strong, but Ian still hunted her down for years. Hua Xiqian tried to explain to Huamin how terrifying Ian was. If I go with you because I'm scared, what about my husband and daughters? If you go, they'll be safe. If you stay, they'll be in danger. They'll be dragged down by you. Are you trying to brainwash me? Should I thank you for taking me away? You've indirectly saved me, Huamin's thoughts were exceptionally clear. Hua Xiqian had to admit that he was always able to grasp the key points at the first moment. I just don't want you to get hurt. Let's go to a place where we'll be alone and live a peaceful life. Hua Xiqian, I won't be able to live in peace if I'm with you. My love is only for my husband and children. Hua Xiqian, what you're doing is pushing yourself into a dead end. My husband won't give up looking for me. When that happens, neither of us will benefit. Why do you have to listen to me? It's too late to turn back now. Huamin had always felt that he wanted to leave a way out for himself and the other party. Therefore, he wanted to persuade Hua Xiqian to stop before the tragedy happened. Turn back? How we can't turn back? Many years ago, when I first saw you at the Hua family, I knew that there was no turning back. Mian, do you believe me? If I had another chance to choose again, I would still do the same. Even if you think I hurt you and you hate me to death, I would still do it, Hua Xiqian said stubbornly. Why do you have to do this? It's getting late. Mian, you should change into a beautiful wedding dress. Hua Xiqian said as he pointed at the wedding dress in the car. No, I won't wear it. She wouldn't change into a normal dress, let alone a wedding dress. Don't force me. You know I can't bear to do that to you. Hua Xiqian's eyes darkened. Chapter 2944. Hua Xiqian's gaze made Huamin feel afraid for the first time. She knew that there was nothing she could say to change the situation. Hua Xiqian had completely lost his mind. If she really wanted to continue this confrontation, it would not be a wise choice. If she jumped off a cliff, she might not have the chance to see Qingqiu and the children again. What past and present life? It was all bullshit. She didn't even understand this life. After thinking about it, Huamin decided to beat him at his own game and find an opportunity to escape. At least there was hope if she was alive. Okay, I'll wear it. Don't come over, I'll change myself. Finally, Huamin gave in. Very good. I'm pleasantly surprised that you're so obedient. Hua Xiqian smiled slightly. Then Huamin got into the car and locked the door. At this moment, she even considered whether she should lock the door from the inside and call Qingqiu for help. But this thought was immediately rejected by him. First of all, Hua Xiqian had the key to the car. Even if he didn't have the key, he could just smash the window with a rock. The glass wasn't bulletproof. Second of all, there was no cell phone or communication device in the car. It was impossible to call Qingqiu for help. If she angered Hua Xiqian, he would do something even more extreme. After thinking about it, Huamin decided to follow Hua Xiqian's request and obediently change into the so-called wedding dress. On the rugged mountain road in the south, Qingqiu's off-road vehicle sped along the steep mountain road. His heart had long been suspended in his throat. Huamin's whereabouts were more important to him than anyone else. He was sure that no one could understand his current state of mind. Now that Huamin, who was pregnant with her second child, was missing to him, it was a blow to the head. At this moment his phone rang. He wanted to turn it off, but when he saw that the caller ID said, "Darling eldest daughter," he couldn't help but pick it up. Qingqiu put on his Bluetooth headset. She adjusted her mood and said, "Hey Pudding. Daddy, where are you?" "Outside." "Mommy, is there any news?" "I have a clue. I'm on my way to look for it." "Really?" Pudding seemed very happy. "Yes. Daddy, I'm so worried. I don't want to stay at Grandma Sue's house anymore. My sister and I want to go with you to find Mommy." "Oh, it's too dangerous." "But Daddy, we're really not in the mood to do anything. Little sister didn't even eat desserts. Grandma Sue bought her a lot of food, but she didn't eat a single bite. I didn't even eat dinner. I really can't eat. We're getting anxious waiting like this." Pudding, Daddy is no longer in the city. He can't pick you up. Is Handsome Sue with Daddy? Pudding asked. Yes. Hey, Handsome Sue is there too. You're all there, Pudding said quietly. Okay, I promise. I'll bring Mommy back safely, okay? Chin-Chu coaxed his daughter gently. Okay, I know Daddy doesn't like to brag. He'll definitely do what he says, Pudding said. Yes, so baby, please trust Daddy with your sister. Okay, we believe in Daddy. Okay, I'll hang up now. Daddy's still driving. Daddy, you have to be careful. Be careful, Pudding didn't forget to remind him. His daughter's heartwarming words comforted Chin-Chu. After hanging up, they continued on their way. I found it. Is it really Yuewang Mountain? There are signs of activity at the top of the mountain. The satellite scanned the body heat. Could Huamin be there? Gao Ran's excited voice came from the walkie-talkie. Chapter 2945. I think so. Chin-Chu suppressed the joy in his heart and nodded in response. Holy shit, that's great. We didn't waste our time. Tang Chuan slammed his hand on the steering wheel to express his indescribable joy. Then he connected his earpiece and called Qin Ning to tell her the news. I knew it. Aching wouldn't lie. Looks like we really got something this time. Wei Liao also laughed. They all had walkie-talkies in the car. Because they weren't far from each other, everyone could hear what they were saying. After hearing the news, they were all very happy and chimed in to express their opinions. Suyu was the only one who didn't say anything. Lord Su, are you still breathing? Tang Chuan asked with a smile. Fuck you. You're the one who's dead, Suyu replied. Then say something. We should be happy that we found the person. Sister-in-law must be scared out of her wits. Tang Chuan laughed. I'm just thinking, could it be? Suyu deliberately paused. Could it be what? Say it. Lord Su, why are you being so wishy-washy? Tang Chuan thought it was strange. Chin-Chu listened carefully to Suyu's opinion. After all, Suyu's brain wasn't just for show. I'm thinking we got the news so easily. Could it be a trap? Suyu said. Lord Su, what do you mean? Are you saying that Huasiqian is afraid that the person there is a fake? Are you saying that Huasiqian deliberately lured us away? Wei Liao's heart sank. I'm not sure. I have a feeling that Huasiqian wouldn't have let us find him so easily. He shouldn't have made such a mistake, Suyu said. Lord Su, you're overthinking. Huasiqian is powerful, but he's not a god. We really don't have to lower our morale and praise others. To be honest, Gao Ran wasn't happy to hear Suyu's words. It wasn't easy for him to find some information on the map. If it was fake, then they would be wasting their efforts. I'm not lowering our morale. I just think that we should be careful. If Huamin is there, of course it's good. But what if he's not? We have to plan our next step, Suyu said. At this moment, Chin-Chu, who had been quiet all this time. Fu is right. Let's hurry up and go up the mountain to see what's going on. Let's end this quickly. Whether or not Huamian is at the top of the mountain, we can't continue fighting. Chin-Chu and Suyu reached a consensus, which was rare. Naturally, no one else had any objections. At the top of the mountain. After changing into the wedding dress, Huamin slowly opened the car door and walked out. At that moment, Huasiqian's eyes widened. To be exact, he was stunned. He had imagined Huamin wearing this wedding dress countless times, but he was still shocked when he saw it with his own eyes. He didn't even know what to say. Huamin was sleeping when she was kidnapped, so her face was very clear without any makeup. Although it wasn't delicate, it was more natural. With her long hair over her shoulders, she slowly walked out of the car in a pure white wedding dress. Seeing this scene, Huasiqian was so excited that he almost cried. One day he would be able to see the woman he loved put on a wedding dress for him. I already did as you said, Huamin said angrily. Mian, don't you think this wedding dress looks familiar? Huasiqian chuckled. Huamin looked down and took a closer look. It really did look familiar. Chapter 2946. Is this the same dress Yen Ruoshi wore when you married her? Huamin suddenly remembered that this wedding dress was exactly the same as the one Yen Ruoshi wore. You're right, but you're also wrong. The one Yen Ruoshi wore was a replica. Even the crystals and diamonds were man-made. Hers is the real deal. It cost 12 million yuan. Huasiqian smiled in satisfaction. Huamin was a little dumbfounded. She lowered her head and looked at the ordinary-looking wedding dress again. Perhaps it was because there were no spotlights or anything like that, so it didn't look very fancy. After hearing Hua Xiqian's words, she realized that there were indeed a lot of crystals and diamonds embedded in the hem of the dress. Hua Xiqian wouldn't lie. It seemed like this 12 million yuan wedding dress was the real deal. Mian, think carefully. Where have you seen this wedding dress before? Hua Xiqian crossed his arms and looked at the beautiful Huamin carefully. Huamin didn't say anything, but she was really trying to remember. Because when she and Qin Chu went to Hua Xiqian's wedding, she said that Yan Ruoxi's wedding dress looked very familiar. But no matter how hard she tried, she couldn't remember. However, after Hua Xiqian reminded her today, some memories did come back to her. Huamin carefully searched for information about this wedding dress in her mind. Suddenly, she felt a light bulb flash in her head and she remembered everything. This wedding dress. Is it the one you won an award for in school? Huamin suddenly looked up and asked Hua Xiqian. You finally remembered? Hua Xiqian's smile was enigmatic. Huamin felt goosebumps all over her body. She carefully recalled that when she was in school, Hua Xiqian seemed to have won the first prize for a beautiful and gorgeous wedding dress in a school-wide design competition. At that time, it was rumored that a wedding photography studio had taken a fancy to it and wanted to buy the rights to the wedding dress. In the end, Hua Xiqian didn't sell it. At that time, there were actually many girls who had a crush on Hua Xiqian. On the surface, he was the young master of the Hua family. Even if he was adopted, he was still of noble birth. His attire was elegant, his manner of speech was refined, and his manners were elegant. After that, no one mentioned the wedding dress anymore. Huamin had only seen the original design of the wedding dress on the school's bulletin board. At that time, she was still wondering if Hua Xiqian was a pervert. Why would he design a woman's dress? Moreover, it was a wedding dress. Who would have thought that today, after so many years, she would finally have the opportunity to see the real thing with her own eyes? Moreover, it was an exorbitant price. Huamin suddenly didn't know what to say. Hua Xiqian slowly approached her, with a crazy infatuation in his eyes. Back then, when I hand-drew this wedding dress, I thought that one day you would be able to wear it for me. Sure enough, no one in the world is more suitable for this wedding dress than you. Huamin was silent. Mian, do you believe it? After so many years, no woman can make my heart waver, except for you. After speaking, Hua Xiqian reached out to touch Huamin's cheek. However, Huamin dodged. Take your dirty hands away, don't touch me. Huamin frowned angrily. I almost forgot about your temper. Don't worry. Come, let's go eat. Hua Xiqian seemed to never be able to get angry at Huamin. If other women said something wrong, he would get angry and slap them. However, no matter how much Huamin said to provoke him, he couldn't bear to be angry at her. Hua Xiqian felt that Huamin was the only disaster in his life. Mian, do you know how long I've been waiting for this moment? Hua Xiqian whispered into Huamin's ear. Chapter 2947. Downtown, Sky Blessing Court. Yang Mirong was watching TV in the living room when she suddenly panicked. Mom, what's wrong? Xixin saw that his mother was uncomfortable and immediately sat up. I don't know. I'm very nervous. How can that be? Is it too hot in the room? I'll turn on the air conditioner. No. King, sit down. This Mom. Your sister hasn't been back recently? Yang Mirong said. Isn't she too busy? She's on leave recently and is tired enough to take care of the twins at home. No, she would usually send me WeChat messages and call me even if she doesn't come for a few days. But she hasn't come at all recently. Maybe she's busy. There's still a great aunt at home. My sister has a lot of people at home. It's not like you don't know. At this moment, Xixin still didn't know that his sister had been taken away. I sent her a WeChat message an hour ago, but she didn't reply. Sigh. Maybe my sister is taking a shower or cooking in the kitchen. No, this hasn't happened before. Mom, what do you want? You're so weird. So scary. Xixin looked at his mother, who was clutching her chest and panting as she talked about his sister. He felt that it was very strange. Can you call your sister? Oh, okay. Xixin picked up his phone and dialed. However, no one picked up after a long time. No one picked up. Wait, I'll call the landline at home. Then Xixin dialed again. This time South Hill Manor's butler, Uncle Lee, picked up. Oh, I see. Okay, I got it. He hung up. Yang Mirong quickly asked her son, how was it? What did he say? My sister and brother-in-law aren't home. They went out. Where did they go? I don't know. The butler picked up. That's not right. I didn't hear that their whole family went out. Yang Mirong became more and more flustered. Don't worry, I'll call my brother-in-law and we'll know. Then Jixin called Qin Chu. Qin Chu was climbing a steep hill and wasn't in the mood to pick up the phone. So the phone rang for a long time but no one picked up. Now even Jixin felt strange. This is really strange. Why isn't brother-in-law picking up the phone? Could it be that something has really happened? After Jixin said this, Yang Meirong's breathing became more and more rapid. I've been feeling uneasy tonight. I've been worried that something might have happened to your sister. Why can't I contact the whole family now? Your sister is missing, the children are missing, and even Qin Chu is missing. What's going on? Yang Meirong cried as she spoke. Mom, calm down. You have to calm down. I'll think of another way. I'll call Sister Lingling and ask her. Jixin patiently called Jiang Xiaowei and Zhu Lingling. However, none of them knew that Huamin was missing. Their husbands didn't mention it either. This time Jixin and his mother panicked. Yang Meirong began to fidget and even wanted to call the police. Mom, don't be stupid. It takes time to call the police. How long will it take for them to go missing? Besides, my sister and brother-in-law are so smart, how could they go missing? Maybe the whole family really went on a trip. Jixin comforted his mother. I hope so. I hope nothing bad happens to him. Otherwise, how am I supposed to live? At the top of Yuewang Mountain, Huamin was forced to sit down at the dining table by Huasiqian. Huasiqian poured a glass of red wine for Huamin. I'm not drinking. It's not poisoned. Don't worry. I'm still not drinking. Huamin hadn't spat out alcohol since she was pregnant. How could she drink red wine? Mion, you don't seem to understand the situation. Do you think you have a choice in this situation? Huasiqian smiled coldly. Chapter 2948. Huasiqian, don't push me too far. Huamin couldn't take it anymore. Huasiqian chuckled and didn't say anything else. Tonight? The moonlight is beautiful, isn't it? Huasiqian looked up and saw the moon hanging high in the sky, emitting a hazy light. Don't be sentimental with me. Whatever you say is meaningless to me. Right now you're just a kidnapper and I'm a hostage. That's all, Huamin said rationally. Kisse. That's not romantic at all. My little sister, why are you as gentle and cute as a kitten when you're with Qin Chu, but you're like a little tiger when you're with me? That's because you've always been someone I hate. You are, and you will always be. Good, it's an honor to be hated by you for the rest of your life. Huasiqian, do you know how perverted you are? Huamin suddenly asked. I don't think so. Then do you know about the existence of that guy named Jack? At the mention of Jack's name, Huasiqian's expression changed slightly. Myung, you sure know a lot. He smiled faintly. Of course, because I've seen Jack with my own eyes twice. Huamin looked at him seriously. So what? Jack only has a chance to come out when I forget to take my medicine. He can't control me at all. That idiot is crazy. Huasiqian commented on his other side. Do you think that Jack and you are two different people? That you share the same body? Of course, what else do you think? Don't you think that Jack doesn't exist? That everything is just your imagination? That's just another you. What are you talking about? That's not me. How could I be so stupid and irritable? Huasiqian obviously didn't like his other personality. If you deny your other self, you're indirectly denying yourself. Huasiqian, look at you. You're already 30 years old. What a failure you are as a person. You can't even look at yourself in the eye, Huamin mocked. Psychological tactics? Psychological tactics? No, Mion, it's useless to play this game with me. I've known you all these years. Your intelligence, your wisdom, your indifference, and your indifference are all useless to me. Huasiqian smiled. Huamin's words is, but on the inside he's as downs. Crazy's crazy. He's kisses. Huasiqian knew Huamian well enough and didn't panic just because she said a few words. Huamin suddenly felt that it wasn't going to be easy to leave Huasiqian's clutches this time. Huamian hoped that Qin Chu would find her as soon as possible so that he could save her and the baby in her belly. It's windy at the top of the mountain. I'll get you a jacket, Huasiqian said as he got up and went back to the car to get a jacket. Huamin, on the other hand, began to observe their surroundings to see if there were any escape routes. Or maybe some weapons that could be used. Suddenly Huamian glanced at the knife and fork that Huasiqian was going to use to eat the steak. It was made of steel and looked very sharp. Huamin carefully held it in his hand and waited nervously. Then Huasiqian took out a black woolen coat, a man's coat, and walked over. He put it on Huamin's shoulders. This warm gesture didn't move Huamin. Instead, Huamin put a knife to his throat. Mian, don't be like this. It's not fun. Huasiqian was still smiling calmly as if he wasn't nervous at all. Chapter 2949. Huasiqian, let me go right now. Huamin's eyes were filled with unprecedented seriousness and anger. Mian, don't mess around. I really don't want to hurt you. I'm threatening you right now. Can you please understand the situation? Huamin was exasperated. She had always been calm, but Huasiqian, this psycho, was driving her crazy. She never thought that one day she would wear a wedding dress designed by Huasiqian and have a candlelit dinner with him on this deserted mountaintop. What the hell? Then kill me. I don't plan on letting you go this time anyway. Huasiqian's lips curled up slightly. You don't think that I don't dare. Then do it. Huasiqian continued to smile. Huasiqian, don't force me. Huamin was about to break down. She increased the force of her hand on his neck. Huasiqian's neck began to bleed. Let me go. I don't want to kill you. No, just kill me. It's good to die in your hands. However, despite Huasiqian's words, Huamin still couldn't bring herself to do it. After all, her hands were used to save people and she never wanted to kill them. Even if they were bad people, she really couldn't bring herself to do it. However, Huasiqian was still pushing her. Mian, you can't bring yourself to do it? Huasiqian continued to provoke her. Huamin was extremely conflicted. She closed her eyes and wanted to stab him. At worst, she would be a murderer. However, she didn't feel guilty killing someone like this. Although she thought so, she still couldn't bring herself to do it. Mian, it's not good for you to be so soft-hearted. Here, I'll teach you what to do. After he finished speaking, Huasiqian gripped Huamin's hand tightly and used the knife to stab himself in the neck. Swoosh! Blood splattered everywhere. Huamin felt like his heart was about to stop beating at that moment. She would never have thought that Huasiqian would do something so extreme. Looking at the blood on his neck slowly flowing down to his hand and the hilt of his saber, she suddenly felt nauseous and turned her head to retch. Yes, as a pregnant woman, she could no longer withstand such shock and excitement, let alone such a bloody scene. Surgeries were different from surgeries. The purpose of surgeries was to save lives, but the actions in front of him were to kill. Killing people was not as simple as killing chickens. After all, it was a living life. Huamin admitted that regardless of whether the other party was Huasiqian or someone else, she couldn't kill him with a clear conscience. She wasn't Lu Yen and hadn't been trained since she was young, so she was really terrified in the face of such a scene. Seeing Huamin retching, Huasiqian became even calmer. He pulled out a white gauze and unhurriedly wrapped the wound on his neck. He didn't use much strength just now, so the wound wasn't deep. However, such an exciting scene was indeed to scare Huamin. Huasiqian admitted that he did it on purpose. He just wanted to let Huamin know his weakness. She couldn't do anything at all and couldn't kill him. Besides, with Huamin's physique, he might not even be a match for Huasiqian with a gun, let alone a knife. Huasiqian was someone who could fight Su Yu's personal bodyguard, and with his bare hands. Since you can't kill me, you should give up the idea. Don't play with knives casually in the future, okay? It's too dangerous. Huasiqian walked closer to Huamin and coaxed her like a child. Chapter 2950. Huamin couldn't speak anymore. She squatted on the ground trying to vomit but unable to do so. She looked like she was in great pain. Just then Huasiqian's phone rang. Hello? Boss, they're here. Do you want us to set up an ambush? Oh, of course not. I want to put on a good show. Huasiqian smiled proudly. Then we'll stay on standby. Okay, just follow the original plan. After Huasiqian hung up, he looked at Huamin meaningfully. Mian, people are here to watch the wedding. Are you happy? Huamin slowly turned around, not knowing what Huasiqian meant. There will be a lot of people watching our grand wedding on the edge of a cliff. You have to do your best later. Huamin didn't say anything. She would never know what kind of perverted move Huasiqian would make next. Huamian was scared out of her wits just now. If she wasn't pregnant, Huamin really wanted to fight him to the death. It wasn't Huamin's character to be led by the nose like this. Are you done? If you're done, let's move on to the next item. Huasiqian stood behind Huamin holding something in his hand. Before Huamin could react, Huasiqian pulled her up. Then something knocked on her hands. When she saw it clearly, she realized it was a pair of miniature handcuffs. They were very small but very strong. Huamin's hands were tightly locked together and she couldn't move at all. She struggled with all her might, but she found that the handcuffs were getting closer and closer and her wrists were hurting. Don't waste time, be obedient. Then Huasiqian saw the coat slip off and drape over Huamin's body. Then she took out a bouquet of flowers from the car and placed it in her hand. After that, he covered the handcuffs on Huamin's hands with fresh flowers. He wanted Huamin to look like he was holding a bouquet of flowers with him. What kind of music do you like? How about the wedding march? I'm going to marry you today, okay? Huasiqian tilted his head and asked. I'd rather die than marry you. Hey, don't say such ominous things on such a good day. I don't like it. Huasiqian, don't you think you're being very childish? Huamin felt that what he was doing was completely meaningless. No, I think it's very meaningful. Didn't I plan for so many years for this day? Cheer up, baby. This is our wedding. Seeing that Huamin didn't say anything, Huasiqian asked again. Since you don't like these two songs, then let's use Wedding of a Dream, even though it sounds sad. Then he used his phone to control the Bluetooth speakers. Richard Clayderman's Wedding of a Dream played from the two mini stereos by the archway. The sad melody, accompanied by darkness, was like dancing on a cliff. Huamin suddenly felt so wrong that she wanted to cry. She and Chinchu hadn't even had a wedding before. It was her first time wearing a wedding dress, but she had to rehearse a cliff wedding with Huasiqian here. It was the biggest irony. Just then the roaring sound of cars slowly approached. Look, they're here. Huasiqian pointed in the direction of the mountain road. 5 SUVs rushed up and behind them was a mighty police car. After the car stopped, Chinchu couldn't wait to jump out. When he saw Huamin standing at the edge of the cliff, he suddenly felt a lot more at ease. Honey. Huamin was instantly surprised and excited. Then tears fell unknowingly. Yes, her husband was here, to save her. Chapter 29:51. Chinchu didn't say anything, but his gaze was fixed on Huamin. He understood all of her grievances, all of her fear and hesitation. He could see it with a single glance. At this moment, Chinchu only felt a deep sense of self-blame. If he hadn't been careless and taken precautions, she wouldn't have been switched at home. You guys came at the right time. My wedding with Sister Mion is lacking an audience. Huasiqian smiled. Fuck, you're a fucking pervert. You kidnapped someone else's wife to marry you? Tang Chuan couldn't help but curse. Then Wei Liao Gao ran and the others got out of the car as well. Si was the last to get out of the car. He first glanced at Huamin. When he saw the tears on her face, he felt as if someone had stabbed his heart. Yes, the fearless Su Yu was most afraid of Huamin's tears. Huamin was a very strong person. When she wanted to cry, she rarely pretended to be weak to gain sympathy. Therefore, if she cried, she must be very sad. That was why Su Yu's heart ached even more. Huasiqian, don't fart. Let her go or I'll blow you up into ashes. Su Yu was impatient. He spoke bluntly. Everyone's here today, Mion. All your friends are here. Then, the wedding can begin. After speaking, Huasiqian reached out and put his arm around Huamin's shoulder as they walked towards the arched door. The two of them had their backs to them. Gao Ran immediately took out his gun and aimed at Huasiqian. Don't shoot. Chinchu said. Why? Look at the clothes behind Mion. Chinchu reminded him. At this moment, everyone saw that on the back of Huamin's black clothes, there was a small blinking thing. His intuition told him that it wasn't anything good either. As expected, Huasiqian stopped in his tracks and turned around with a smile. If you want to shoot me, go ahead. But if I die, the bomb on Mion's body will detonate within 30 seconds of my death. Even the best experts in the world can't defuse it in such a short time. So if you want to do this, I don't mind. No matter if it's in heaven or on earth, I'm happy as long as I can be with Mion. Huasiqian, fuck your mother. You despicable, shameless bastard, you're the scummiest person I've ever met, you piece of shit. Tang Chuan was so angry that he kept walking in circles. He wanted to curse Huasiqian with all the vicious words he could think of. As expected, Chinchu had guessed correctly. He knew that Huasiqian would not reveal any flaws so easily. Therefore, if he dared to turn around so easily and turn his back to them, he should know that they wouldn't dare to shoot. I'm going to tear this scumbag apart with my bare hands. So you couldn't stay calm anymore. He threw his gun on the ground and was about to rush up and drag Huamin back. However, before he could take a few steps, Qin Chu pulled him back. Don't go, Qin Chu said. Fuck, what time is it? She's your wife, Qin Chu, she's your wife. Don't you feel bad for her? Suyu yelled at Qin Chu. Qin Chu looked at Suyu with a complicated expression. Then he squatted down, picked up a small rock and threw it in the direction of Huasiqian and Huamin. The moment the rock hit the ground, there was a loud explosion. He planted a landmine? After Gao Ran said this, everyone's expression changed drastically. If Qin Chu hadn't stopped him, Suyu would have been smashed into pieces. Yes, Huasiqian used a landmine to trap himself and Huamin at the edge of the cliff. No one could get close, otherwise they would be blown into pieces. This is big trouble. Wei Liao, who was always smart and quick-witted, frowned slightly. Chapter 2952. Chu, what do we do now? Gao Ran looked at Qin Chu and asked in a low voice. Find a chance to save her, Qin Chu said calmly. How? We can't get close. Gao Ran frowned slightly. How about we throw rocks at them and detonate the bombs? There must be a limit to the number of bombs. Tang Chuan suggested cleverly. We can't do that. The explosion is too loud. Huamin is pregnant. Suyu immediately rejected. Oh right. I forgot that my sister-in-law is pregnant. Tang Chuan stuck out his tongue. The men, including the police officers behind them, couldn't get close to Huasiqian and Huamin. Huasiqian faced everyone alone. He had even sent away all of his subordinates. If he wasn't confident, why would he do that? Just then Huasiqian pulled Huamin and turned around. Thank you all for coming to my wedding with Huamin today, he said. Fuck. Suyu was so angry that his face turned green. Seeing Huamin being wronged and unable to get close to him, that feeling was worse than death. Huasiqian, what do you have to do to let Mian go? Qin Chu looked at him calmly. I think I should ask you what you have to do to let Mian go, right? Qin Chu, you've had her for too long. You can't even protect your own wife, what right do you have to have her? Qin Chu didn't say anything. Huasiqian continued. Ian is running out of patience. He'll soon find out about Mian's background. If he finds out, you know the consequences. He's a demon that even Lu Yen can't deal with. Huasiqian wasn't being an alarmist. Everyone knew what kind of person Ian was. At least Gao Ran had seen it before. Wherever that pervert went, rivers of blood would flow. He's my wife. I will protect her, Qin Chu said. Huasiqian seemed to have made up his mind. Save your sweet words, you're a big liar. You know better than I do how much Huamian has suffered in your hands. Anyways, I won't trust you this time. After the wedding, I'll take her away. Don't even think about it. There are so many of us here, where can you go? Don't even think about taking Huamin away. Suyu refuted Huasiqian. But he just smiled and didn't say anything. Mian, don't you want to say something to everyone at this beautiful moment? Huasiqian lowered his head and looked at Huamin. When he smiled, even his eyes were gentle. You won't succeed. My husband will save me. After Huamin finished speaking, she looked at Qin Chu with determination. She believed that no matter what, Qin Chu was the one who could save her. Just like before, Qin Chu would clean up all the messes she made. Qin Chu was the one who cleaned up all the mess she made. She just needed to continue being the willful Dr. Hua. Hearing Huamin's words, Qin Chu felt even worse. In the face of his wife's unconditional trust, he felt guilty. Mian. Qin Chu looked at Huamin as if he had 1,000 things to say. But as soon as he opened his mouth, tears welled up in his eyes. Huamin's eyes were also red. She never thought that she could be so far away from Qin Chu. They were only 12 meters apart, but it felt like the end of the world. Chapter 2953. Huasiqian, we agree to let you go and not pursue this matter as long as you let Huamin go. Gao Ran tried to negotiate with him. Huasiqian didn't even look at Gao Ran. You don't have the right to negotiate with me. Can you do it? Gao Ran glanced at Qin Chu. He doesn't have the right either because I have the upper hand. I told you don't negotiate with me. I only want Huamin. That's impossible, Suyu refuted. He could give Huasiqian anything but Huamin. Although Huamin wasn't his wife, he loved Huamin as much as Qin Chu did. Let's not waste time. Everyone think of something. It's too cold here and my sister-in-law is pregnant. We can't let that psycho hold her hostage. Tang Chuan was also very anxious. Qin Chu glanced at Gao Ran, lowered his voice and said something. Gao Ran nodded and quietly retreated behind Qin Chu. They were not in Hu Xiqian's line of sight. Hu Xiqian let Hu Min go. After all, she's your family and you both have the same surname, Wei Liao tried to persuade him. We don't need outsiders to interfere with our family matters. Qin Chu, I didn't expect you to be such a coward. You even brought so many people to save your wife. If I knew you were such a coward, I wouldn't have married you. I shouldn't have. Hu Xiqian mocked. Suddenly, Hu Min slapped Hu Xiqian's face. To be more precise, she threw both of her hands at him because Hu Xiqian had handcuffed her hands. She couldn't take them out, so she raised both of her hands and slapped him. She used a lot of strength. Hu Xiqian didn't expect Hu Min to do this, but he was hit pretty hard. His cheeks turned red. He didn't know if it was because of the handcuffs or because of Hu Min's fist. Don't bully Qin Chu. No one has the right to say no to him. He's the best person in the world to me. Hu Min angrily warned Hu Xiqian. Little sister Mian, you're being naughty again. Don't provoke me. Hu Xiqian smiled as he wiped the corner of his mouth. Mian, don't be impulsive. Qin Chu was worried that something would happen to Hu Min. Are you two putting on a show of loving husband and wife? Very well. Since you're acting, let's go all out. After speaking, Hu Xiqian turned around and picked up a glass of red wine. Come, let's drink cross-cupped wine. Get out of my way. Hu Min struggled with all his might. You don't want to drink? Very well. I'll help you. After speaking, Hu Xiqian pinched Hu Min's chin with one hand. With the other hand he poured the wine into his mouth. Hu Min. So you looked heartbroken. Qin Chu on the other hand didn't make a sound, but the corners of his eyes were already glistening with tears. Hu Xiqian, fuck your ancestors. You son of a bitch. Tang Chuan jumped up and cursed. What a pervert. Wei Liao had never seen such a crazy man in his life. Cough, cough, cough. After being forced to drink the red wine, Hu Min choked and coughed violently. He felt like he couldn't breathe and was about to suffocate. Hu Xiqian, don't touch her. Qin Chu clenched his fists tightly. What? Do you feel bad for her? Then beg me. If you kneel down and beg me, I might be merciful. Hu Xiqian then threw the empty wine glass on the ground. His attitude was arrogant. Qin Chu. Don't listen to him. Hu Min's breathing was weak and even his voice was weak. Chapter 2954. Hu Xiqian, you're a piece of trash. Scum. Son of a bitch. When Tang Chuan was angry, he wasn't as gentle as Su Yu. If it weren't for the landmines, he would have rushed over. He was sure that he would have at least beaten Hu Xiqian into a pig's head. Hu Min was forced to vomit after being forced to drink the red wine. She collapsed on the ground and kept retching. Although she knew that the red wine didn't have much effect on the fetus, she still didn't want to drink the red liquid. Especially when Hu Xiqian forced the wine down her throat in such a perverted way. Hu Min didn't have any defensive weapons on her. Even the tracker had been found by Hu Xiqian, not to mention the silver needles on her body. At this moment she was very envious of Yan. If she had Yan's skills, she wouldn't be afraid even if there were two Hu Xiqian. Qin Chu, what are you waiting for? Aren't you going to kneel? Why don't I give little sister Mian some more? Hu Xiqian said as he reached out and pulled Hu Min up from the ground. Qin Chu's eyes darkened. No one knew what he was thinking. If this was an 8 p.m. drama, the male lead would definitely kneel down to save the woman he loved. It would show his love for the female lead. Then the audience burst into tears. However, life was never a drama, and it wouldn't develop in that direction. Hu Xiqian really wanted to humiliate Qin Chu. He really wanted Qin Chu to kneel down to him. All these years he had always hated Qin Chu. He always acted high and mighty like an emperor. Qin Chu was born with dignity and never bowed down to anyone. She carried her innate pride. Hu Xiqian, on the other hand, seemed to have lived in the shadow of abuse during his childhood. His life was even worse than that of a dog. Therefore it caused his mentality to be distorted. Therefore he wanted to see Qin Chu kneel before him and crush all of Qin Chu's pride. However, Hu Min propped himself up and looked at Qin Chu. In a low voice he said, "Don't do that, please." Qin Chu understood the look in Hu Min's eyes. Qin Chu knew that if he really knelt down to Huasiqian because of this, Huamin would feel worse than death. So he just stood there not moving for a long time. I told you he doesn't love you at all. He loves himself. He thinks it's embarrassing, so he won't even do something like this for you. Why would he give up his life for you? So, don't be silly, this kind of man is really not suitable for you. Stop trying to drive a wedge between us. We've been together for years, and our love has long surpassed that of a man and a woman. We're already family. You can't drive a wedge between us with just a few words. Qin Chu understands me. He's the person who understands me the most in this world. Huamin was glad that Qin Chu understood what he meant. She felt gratified. If that's the case, let's drink some more, baby. After speaking, Huasiqian grabbed Huamin's chin again, raised the other glass of red wine and poured it into her mouth. Don't, Huasiqian, please don't do this. Don't you want me to kneel to you? Me. I'll kneel to you. These words came out of Su Yu's mouth. Yes, when he saw Huamin, who was pregnant with his second child, being forced to drink by Huasiqian again, he almost broke down. That feeling was worse than being cut into pieces. To this day he still couldn't bear to see Huamin being tortured in front of his own eyes. Therefore Su Yu, who had always been arrogant, fell to his knees like a coward at this moment. He knelt down heavily in front of Huasiqian. Then everyone was shocked. Chapter 2955. Lord Su. Wei Liao was dumbfounded. Lord Su, what the fuck are you doing? Get up. Tang Chuan had never seen Su Yu like this before. He was like a coward, but he knew that he was doing this for Huamin. Qin Chu's eyes dimmed. He looked at Su Yu in silence and didn't say a word. In his eyes, Su Yu had always been his greatest rival in love, his strongest competitor and the most honorable gentleman. Huamin's tears fell like pearls from a broken necklace. Su Yu, get up. I won't allow you to do this, she said in a sobbing tone. Yes, she wouldn't allow any man to kneel down in front of Huasiqian for her. Qin Chu, you should learn from Su Yu. Your love for Sister Mian is less than Su Yu's. Huasiqian said sarcastically. So, can you stop torturing Huamin? Su Yu raised his head and looked at Huasiqian with bloodshot eyes. But it's useless for you to kneel down. I don't want you to kneel down. Huasiqian changed his words. Huasiqian, are you a fucking man? Tang Chuan was furious. He cursed as he pulled Su Yu up. It's useless for you to curse me. Why don't you go and convince Qin Chu to kneel down and kowtow to me 3 times? Huasiqian smiled smugly. Don't even think about it. Huasiqian, you lived a lowly life when you were young and were treated like a dog. That's why you still feel inferior when you grow up. That's why you want someone as proud as Qin Chu to kneel down in front of you. That's why you feel satisfied, right? Yes, Sister Mian, you're absolutely right. Huasiqian smiled. You won't make it happen. Qin Chu will never do that. He loves me, and kneeling down in front of you are 2 different things. We won't fall for your trick. Huamin gritted his teeth and said word by word. Meanwhile, thousands of miles away in the Middle East, Lu Yen slapped the face of a 2-meter-tall bald man. Boss, I'm sorry. I'll chop your head off first and then apologize to your head. What's the use of that? Lu Yen was furious. The man lowered his head and didn't dare to retort or even fart. Qiao Fei just watched on the side and didn't interfere. It was Lu Yan's rule to discipline her subordinates. No one was allowed to interfere. What's the situation over there? We only know that the young miss was taken away. Her husband went to rescue her. We don't know the details yet. What do I need you for? My sister was taken away. Why the fuck are you only telling me this now? Lu Yen rested her hands on her hips, fuming with anger. Boss, you were still in the middle of a war. It's such a critical battle. We were afraid that you would be distracted and in danger. Don't fucking mention danger to me. If I were afraid of death, would I be a mercenary? Qiao Fei looked at Lu Yen quietly. She scolded her subordinates in fluent American English. He thought she was very charming. Lu Yen, this fearless little girl, could make him fall head over heels in love with her. Prepare a plane for me. Psycho Qiao and I will go back immediately. After Lu Yen finished scolding, she pointed at her assistant beside her. Yen, we can't go. Qiao Fei finally stood up slowly. Why? Even you think I can't save my sister? Lu Yen glared at Qiao Fei angrily. Chapter 2956. No, I just think. Ian has been following us. If we go back to China, not only will we not be able to save Mian in time, but we might also bring trouble to her. Then what should we do? I can't just leave her in the lurch. No, I just think. First of all, Mian's husband isn't that strong, so maybe we don't have to do anything. Second of all, we have a long way to go. Even if we take the fastest flight back, it'll take at least 7 or 8 hours. Maybe after 7 or 8 hours, the situation will already be like this. Qiao Fei analyzed rationally. Lu Yan was silent. In fact, Lu Yan wasn't a reckless person. She was just anxious when it came to her sister's situation. If you think I'm wrong, I'll go back with you. Seeing Lu Yan remain silent, Qiao Fei added, Boss, there's a battle situation. Just then one of her mercenaries rushed in and said in a hurry, Speak. Lu Yan glared at the man. We've just detected a dozen more armored vehicles heading our way. There are also 3 unmanned bombers. We have to leave this place. Damn it. They're everywhere. Lu Yan gritted her teeth. Let's retreat. Everyone retreat to the dugout. Taking advantage of the war abroad, Ian's terrorist organization colluded with the local anti-government militants. Then they used some large-scale war weapons to force Lu Yan to submit. This time Lu Yan and Qiao Fei had been fighting for half a month. I'm practically exhausted, but the good thing was that the Qiao family couldn't interfere. Neither Qiao Nan nor his father, who wanted to bring Qiao Fei back, could contact him. War wasn't as simple as killing. A bomb could kill a lot of people. In the face of death, Lu Yan seemed to grow braver and even a little excited. Qiao Fei remembered a conversation between his father and Professor Lu, who was Lu Yan's father, a long time ago. At that time Qiao Fei's father had said, After all, Lu Yan is a girl. It's not good for her to live like this. Why don't you give her a new identity and let her start over? At that time Professor Lu's answer was, Everyone is born with a mission. Lu Yan is used to this kind of life. However, the dull and boring life will wear away her iron will. Although she's only in her early 20s, she's already experienced hundreds of battles. She's a real warrior who climbed out of piles of corpses. So Lu Yan is destined to spend her life in battle. That was why Qiao Fei's father didn't want Qiao Fei to marry Lu Yan. On one hand, they were worried that Ian would cause trouble for them. On the other hand, no one wanted a warrior as their daughter-in-law. Even the underworld families were only involved in the arms trade for money. Lu Yan, on the other hand, was a real killing machine. When Qiao Fei was young, he saw Lu Yan and asked her, Aren't you afraid of going to hell after killing so many people? He remembered Lu Yan's answer clearly. She laughed disdainfully. Aren't I in hell right now? Those were the words of a teenager. At that time Qiao Fei was extremely shocked and deeply touched. At the same time he thought that he really wanted to use his life to protect Lu Yan and not let her get hurt. Because this was no longer something that could be measured by the word heartache. Be careful. Coming back to his senses, Qiao Fei pressed Lu Yan's head down. The two of them hugged each other tightly and rolled into a crack on the other side. Then the place where they were lying was hit by a bomb and engulfed by fire. You were distracted just now. This isn't like you. Qiao Fei looked at Lu Yan gently and asked. Chapter 2957. Qiao Fei. Lu Yan's expression was strange. What's wrong? I just had a very, very bad feeling. What feeling? I just felt something, stabbing pain in my heart. It's okay, don't think too much. Qiao Fei, will my sister be okay? When Lu Yan said this, her hand subconsciously grabbed Qiao Fei's wrist tightly. There was also panic in her eyes. This was the first time Qiao Fei had seen it. It was an expression that Lu Yan rarely had. Even when she was facing death, she didn't have it. No, don't think too much. Sister Mian will be fine. If it's really because I didn't go back and couldn't help my sister, I'll hate myself to death. She's my biological sister. She and Dad are my last family in this world. Lu Yan was very scared. Ever since her mother Linya's accident many years ago, she had become more and more scared. Later, she and her father lived separately and didn't see each other for many years. Instead, she became much quieter. If her father was by her side, she would be distracted when she fought and would think about taking care of him. Therefore, she didn't want to be a burden to her father, and her father didn't want to be her worry. All these years they lived in peace, until she found her sister. Then, everything changed. Looking at her sister and the twins, Lu Yen felt a sense of happiness from the bottom of her heart. He couldn't suppress it. It was a magical feeling. It was a unique kinship, a kinship where blood was thicker than water. Trust me, she'll be fine. Sister Mian is a genius. Xiao Fei reached out and hugged Lu Yan's shoulder tightly. The two of them thought about how to save their lives in the rain of bullets. Xiao Fei had to comfort the panicked Lu Yan. At the headquarters of the Turkish reactionary government, after meeting with the commander of the reactionary government, Ian walked out. He was wearing a dark green military coat. He was the leader of a terrorist organization, but he dressed up like a hero. That's right, he was just that unpredictable. Is the time limit for Hua up? Has he handed over the person I want? Ian asked. Sir, something seems to have happened over there, the person beside him reported carefully. Seems? Oh no, I don't like you talking to me like that. Ian's face darkened. Sir, the situation isn't looking good, tell me what's wrong. Ian got into the bulletproof SUV under the protection of his subordinates. Have a cigar first. His men carefully held up the high-quality Cuban cigars and tried to please Ian. Kohua. I want to talk to him now, Ian ordered after taking a puff of his cigar. Sir, we can't contact Mr. Hua anymore. Can't contact him? What kind of concept is that? Ian's eyes were cold. Something seems to have happened in China. We can't get through to Mr. Hua's phone, and the people in charge of contacting us can't be found either. So, did this kid betray me? Ian's eyes seemed to be smiling and there was a strange look in them. I don't know the details yet, but I can't contact him right now, so I don't know what happened. Very good. This is really beyond my expectations. Ian narrowed his eyes and looked at the smoke outside the window. Then he laughed out loud. But this voice made one's hair stand on end. At the top of Yuewang Mountain, Gao Ran took out a thin rope and quietly put it in Qin Chu's hand. Is this really okay? Gao Ran asked worriedly. Qin Chu didn't say anything and quietly took the rope from behind. There seemed to be no other way to save Hua Mian. Chapter 2958. Qin Chu raised his head and looked at Gao Ran. He slowly said, I have no other choice. I can't let Hua Xiqian lead me by the nose and let him bully me on. Yes, when Hua Min was abused, Qin Chu was the one who felt the most pressure. Although his expression never changed and he didn't speak. He wasn't as irritable as Su Yu or Tang Chuan, who showed it on his face. However, his heart was more tormented than anyone else's. There were such people in this world. They had a cold and steady personality. However, they were still humans, not gods. They couldn't live a life that was like a cheat. They couldn't solve everything. Therefore, when Qin Chu encountered a setback, he looked calm on the surface, but his heart was in turmoil. Are you confident? Gao Ran asked him. 50-50. There was no need to lie to Gao Ran, so Qin Chu could only say that the chances were 50-50ths. In this situation, it was hard to say if he could save Hua Min, but Qin Chu would definitely do his best. After all, Hua Mian was more important to him than he was. Not long ago, when they attended an advanced CEO seminar, the spiritual mentor Enya gave them a question. Everyone was given a small blackboard and wrote the names of the people they thought were important. They had to write about 5 or 6 names. On Qin Chu's blackboard they wrote, Hua Min, Pudding, Little Bean, his parents' second uncle, and Qin Ning. Then Gao Ran and Rick. Among these people, family, lovers, friends, they all included. After writing, the mentor said, now think about it. You are on a hot air balloon and traveling. But suddenly the hot air balloon breaks down and needs to be lightened to ensure the safety of others. At this time, one person has to be crossed out. In other words, you have to give up on him in exchange for the safety of others. Everyone fell silent after hearing this. This was a cruel question. However, it was also a compulsory question. Many people silently picked up the chalk and began to cross out their names. That's right. Most people would cross out a friend in their circle of friends because friends seem to be a little lighter than family members and lovers. Qin Chu picked up the chalk and paced back and forth between Gao Ran and the horse. Then he crossed out one. Then the tutor said, continue, and crossed out 2 more words. Just like that, after a few times, there were only 2 names left on most of the blackboards. One was the child and the parents. One was his children and his wife. On Qin Chu's blackboard were Hua Min, Pudding, and Little Bean. These were all things that he could imagine. In his eyes, his children and his wife had indeed surpassed his parents. This did not mean that he was not filial, nor did it mean that his parents were not important. It was just that he loved his wife and daughter more. At this moment the cruelest question came. The instructor said, "For the last time, the bosses will abandon one of the two remaining candidates." Everyone was in an uproar. Some people even threw away the chalk and yelled, "What kind of stupid game is this? I'm not playing anymore. My heart is so heavy." Yes, Chin Chu's heart was also extremely heavy. Although it was just a word game, when he crossed out his friends, parents, second uncle and Chin Ning's names again and again, it was as if he had really abandoned them. Therefore, when the tutor asked them to choose again, many people broke down. Only Chin Chu thought for 5 seconds and then slowly picked up the chalk. He slowly crossed out Pudding and Little Bean's names. Only Huamin was left. At this moment his face was already covered in tears. However, he also knew that in this world, no matter what, the person he loved the most was Huamin. "Chu, when do you plan to do it?" Gao Ran's words pulled Chin Chu back from his thoughts. Chapter 2959. Anytime. After Chin Chu said these 2 words, he took 2 more steps forward. Gao Ran didn't dare to ask too much, because Chin Chu's thoughts were just like Huamin's. They were always strange. Huamin was wearing a wedding gown as she stood at the edge of the cliff, where the cool breeze blew. Standing in front of the glaring arch, she was forced by Huasiqian to hold a cliff wedding. Although these people were furious, there was nothing they could do. First, it was because of the time bomb on Huamin's body. Second, it was because the 2 of them seemed to be surrounded by something that resembled Sun Wukong's circle. There were landmines all around them. No one could get close to them. Huasiqian was far stronger than they had imagined. He was much more insane. "Huasiqian, if you're a man, come out and fight me one-on-one. Why do you have to make things difficult for a woman?" Su Yu taunted as he tried to goad Huasiqian. However, Huasiqian was so smart. How could he fall for it so easily? "Su Yu, don't try to provoke me. I won't fall for your trick. Whether I'm a man or not, it's not up to you to decide. Fight you one-on-one. No, I have the initiative. I have everything. Why would I fight you one-on-one? How stupid would I be?" Huasiqian laughed. "Huasiqian, didn't you say that you loved Huamin? How could you have the heart to treat her like this? What you did wasn't love," Su Yu scolded. At this moment Huamin was in a sorry state. Red wine was spilled all over her dress, and there were red wine stains all over her wedding gown. Her hair was also a little messy. Perhaps it was because Huasiqian had hurt her when he pinched her chin, but Huamin's complexion was a little pale and she looked a little weak. He was really distressed. He was so anxious that he wished he could replace her as a hostage. "Yeah, I love Mian, but my way is different from yours." "Bullshit, you're just selfish, possessive and unwilling. That's not love at all. Loving someone means that even if you can't get them, you still want to see them live happily," Su Yu said. I'm sorry, I'm not as great as you. I just want to get it." "That's why I said you're a hypocrite." Huasiqian let go of Huamin. "I'll be her hostage." "Are you kidding me, Lord Su? You should stop. I can't bear to look at your IQ anymore." Huasiqian actually looked down on Su Yu. This was because he had always felt that Su Yu was stupid and impulsive. Therefore he never took him seriously. Chin Chu, on the other hand, had always been the one he worried about. But now, without Huamin, Chin Chu was just a stray dog. Huamin was Su Yu's weakness. She was his weakness and Chin Chu's Achilles heel. It was because of this that Huasiqian was even more unscrupulous in torturing Huamin. He knew that doing this in front of Chin Chu would be more painful. Unintentionally killing him was much worse than killing him. Therefore it was very scary to meet an opponent like Huasiqian who could read minds. He knew what to do. He could break through your psychological defenses and make you break down immediately. How dare you look down on Lord Su's IQ? I'd still be 2 pounds more than this son of a bitch. Tang Chuan and Su Yu were best buddies. Therefore, as soon as he heard Huasiqian insult Su Yu, he couldn't take it anymore. Huasiqian ignored Tang Chuan because he didn't want to talk to people who didn't matter to him. "Little sister Mian, are you tired?" Huasiqian lowered his head and looked at Huamin gently. At this moment, Chin Chu quickly threw out the steel wire lock that Gao Ran gave him. It wrapped around Huamin's body. Then Chin Chu pulled hard. Huamin's body flew towards Chin Chu. Huasiqian reacted quickly. He grabbed onto Huamin's leg and jumped. "Huamian." Everyone at the scene was shocked to the core. Chapter 2960. Although Qin Chu's method was risky, it was the only way. Because only by dragging Huamin out of the air, they wouldn't have to put too much pressure on the landmine line. However, they didn't expect Huasiqian to react so quickly and grab Huamin's leg. Seeing this, everyone rushed over to help. Su Yu immediately went behind Qin Chu and pulled the rope. Then Gao Ran, Wei Liao and Tang Chuan all ran over. Everyone began to play a tug-of-war with Huasiqian. Everyone be careful. Don't hurt Huamin, Gao Ran didn't forget to remind them. After all, Huamin was pregnant. Seeing that this group of people was about to take her away, Huasiqian wasn't in a hurry. Out of nowhere, a miniature remote control appeared in his hand. He pressed it lightly. The landmine circle immediately exploded. The rope was blown apart. Before Huamin landed, Huasiqian carried her back. Luckily, she didn't fall to the ground. He actually took her back. Tang Chuan was about to go crazy from the torture. When he came out, he didn't forget to brag. He patted his chest and said to Qin Ning, "Don't worry, honey. I'll definitely save our sister-in-law. After all, we're family." Qin Ning cried and leaned into Tang Chuan's arms. "Tang Chuan, you have to help my brother save her. My brother can't lose my sister-in-law. You don't know how scary it'll be if he loses her." Qin Ning cried as she said those words. But just now, when he saw Huamin being taken back by Huasiqian, Tang Chuan was really in despair at that moment. That feeling was like playing a game and clearly winning, but suddenly the power went out. It was simply too uncomfortable. Seeing the rope break, Huamin was hugged by Huasiqian. Qin Chu's perennially cold face finally had a trace of expression. That was panic. A kind of panic that he rarely showed. Yes, he was afraid. He was too afraid that something would happen to Huamin. "Huasiqian, let go of me." Huamin was held in his arms. She wanted to struggle, but she didn't have any strength. The explosion just now was still deafening, as if it was still ringing in her ears. She still felt that her heart was beating very fast. She wondered if the child in her stomach would be frightened. Huamin was thinking about how to protect her baby. After all, it was her and Qin Chu's child. "Qin Chu, this time you've really pissed me off," Huasiqian said. "Huasiqian, if you don't want to die, let her go. Do you believe that I can call in an army to wipe you out in minutes?" Su was furious. "Ha, I believe you. Why wouldn't I believe you? You're the only heir of the Su family. Calling in an army is a piece of cake for you. But, do you think everything can be done in a hurry? Do you think I'll give you this chance?" "What do you mean? This is a dead end. Do you have wings to fly?" Su questioned. "Lord Su, did this bastard prepare a helicopter or something to escape?" Tang Chuan asked carefully. "Even if it's a helicopter, I'll shoot him down." Su was full of confidence. At this moment, Huasiqian glanced at Qin Chu. "Qin Chu, all these years I've been imagining a scene like today, a scene where you lose to me. The winner hasn't been decided yet." "I haven't lost," Qin Chu said. "No, you've already lost. Because," at this point Huasiqian hugged Huamin tightly and glanced at her. Then he continued, "Mian, from this moment on you're mine forever." Then Huasiqian hugged Huamin, turned around and jumped off the cliff. At that moment, everyone held their breaths. It was as if they could hear the sound of a needle falling to the ground. "No?" Su Yu screamed at the top of his lungs. However, at that moment, Qin Chu couldn't make a sound. He just watched as Huasiqian hugged Huamin and jumped off the cliff. There was no room for negotiation. In the next second, Qin Chu spat out a mouthful of blood. You're tuning in to the Biao's Wuxia Chronicles YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.